discretion is advised.
Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, good evening, everybody. Clear of the old throat. Yeah, let's start again. Good evening, everyone. Monday night Ben and Grem show, and we have a pretty good lineup for you this evening. We've got Grem. He will be with us shortly. He is on his way, ladies and gentlemen, and also we have a special guest this evening for the Monday night guest, and we're apologetic that we hadn't had a guest on the previous Monday night, actually, which ended up the Wednesday night show, but we have Lisa Terry, ladies and gentlemen. She will be with us in approximately 4 minutes time. We're running a little bit late on schedule this evening, so for that reason we're going to give our guest a little bit more time, because that's important. Okay, too much of me is not good, and the same for Grem. Better for Grem, but anyway, you get my drift. So I hope everyone's all right. Fine day today has been, nice and warm for everybody, I'm sure, and yet another day of the pandemic lockdown. And of course, if you've been working, great. If not, well, what have you been up to? Just a shout out in the stream, we'll just have a mention to Andrew. Nice to see you, Andrew, for the Monday night show this evening. Also, we have who else do we have? I think we have Lee actually in. I did this yesterday, didn't I, folks? I actually announced Lee in on the chat, and he wasn't even here. But I dare say he will be in very shortly. Yeah. Have we been hacked? No, ladies and gentlemen. I thought it'd be a little bit different, actually, Andrew. We haven't been hacked, but for the show, we thought we would just give it a bit of an upbeat, all right, this evening. You know, as we're coming close to the end of the lockdown, and pubs and clubs, or pubs, bars, whatever you would like to refer them as, are now starting to open again, I thought, you know, it would be nice to get people in the mood, you know, bit of dance music. You know, I'm not sure exactly, as you probably know, guys, whether, as we know, whether the nightclubs will actually open up again because of the whole social distancing rules, even though they might still be in effect if, as and when the lockdown further decreases on its restrictions. But we should see probably some hope that, you know, the good nightclub or two does reopen. I am sure many of you have had some fantastic memories over the years of nightclubs in your youth. Long time ago for me, yeah, I would say. Last time I've been to a nightclub, a while ago. But what about you guys? Have you been to a nightclub? I'd say recently, but not quite recently, because obviously the pandemic's kind of kicked in. But you know, would you think it's a good idea that we open up these nightclubs again? I mean, you know, not really that much social distancing happens on the dance floor, does it? At all. Yeah. Grem is with us shortly, as I say. He is busy. Now, many of you may not know, but Grem, actually, the very Gremster that we have on the show, he is somebody who involves himself with a ice cream van. He has a job running an ice cream van, and he does really well with it, guys. But he had some pretty busy intake of customers today, so of course he is running slightly behind on schedule, but not too much behind. He will be with us, rest assured. In the meantime, it does appear that actually we might even have our special guest in this evening just a little bit earlier than normal, and actually as I say, earlier to the point being before our Grem, but we'll have to wait and see. He will be with us imminently. In fact, so will our guest. So we've got about a minute or so to go. And Lisa, if you're listening, we look forward to seeing you in soon. So how's everybody been? And Andrew, you said it would be great to see to get Adam Morrison-Jones on the show. Absolutely, Andrew. You are absolutely right with that. Adam is a fantastic guy. He's a great comedian, local comedian. I think he's born and bred Dover. I'm sure you might correct me on that later. He does some fantastic stand-up comedy. And also, Adam Morrison-Jones was actually somebody who took part in the Glazer Stead show with us, with me and Ian Stead, some while back, which was, as far as some was concerned, a bit of a hit. Others have a bit of a mixed opinion on it, but no, certainly he was great, and he's also a bit of a musician as well. He's an all-rounded talented figure, is Adam Morrison-Jones. So I look forward, yes, absolutely, in having him on, and I'm sure equally you guys do too. And of course, Andrew, you know Adam, some of his work. You can see Adam Morrison-Jones on Facebook. He often posts bits and pieces up about the work he's doing, so please do have a look at some of the work he's doing. It's fantastic. Local comedian, going places, most absolutely, definitely. So yes, so Jimmy Carr, great that you are. Watch out, mate, watch out, because Adam Morrison-Jones is coming. Broadway. Who else do we have? He says, is that Hillary Clinton? Who's that then? What, me? No. If you're referring to our wonderful guest this evening, it will be Lisa Terry. No, she is Lisa Terry. No Hillary Clinton involved in that one. I think that's where we're going with that. Who else do we have? Funky music. Yes, it was. I'm just going back on some of the old posts there, guys. So do forgive me, I'm a bit late on the uptake. It is actually 1 minute past the time of which we were going to bring on our guest. So without further ado, our guest will be with us very soon in time, and I hope you enjoy her company. Thank you very much. Here she is. Yes. So while Lisa sorts out her video and audio, we will continue on. So yeah, I hope everyone's well. I hope everybody has had a good day. Busy one, I'm sure. Graham, as I say, is very busy. I'm sure he'll give us some insight as to how busy his day's been when he gets with us. But he is, as I say, imminently due to turn in. Here we are. We have Lisa with us. Lisa, are you all good? Do you have your audio with you? Thinking about it, innit? There is always a slight delay, guys. When you ever join in on a Zoom call, there is a slight delay within seconds or so before it kicks in. But once it kicks in, it's all good. In fact, does it actually? Oh yeah, connecting to audio there. She's got it. Sort of. Can anybody hear Lisa? Anybody in the chat, can they hear Lisa? I can't at the moment, which is not good. Obviously, we do need to hear her. That's important. There is no reason for why it shouldn't be working, but we'll have a look. We'll have a look. Have a look at the settings. Ah, okay. She's actually connecting. Yeah, she's got it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Here we go. We got Lisa.
Yes.
Yes, and it's perfect.
Hi guys.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. And how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Long time no speak. How's Kevin? The other half, of course.
Yeah, he's fine. He's downstairs playing FIFA, enjoying the victory of Liverpool, of course. But so the whole house is all in victory. I'm a Leeds supporter. He's a Liverpool supporter. So we're both in victory of our teams.
Well, that's another very good reason as to why we needed to get you on, Lisa, because not only do we know each other not just through football, but also through our community involvements as,
Yes.
as I was once a counsellor, and of course you worked very much so in the community, didn't you, with community forums and so on, and lots of good stories to tell.
And still do.
Still do, of course you
do quite a lot. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, loads of stuff to talk about, absolutely. And yeah, I can imagine it's really, really party time in your house, definitely, with a Leeds and Liverpool support. I've got some friends that are Liverpool supporters as well, so it's really nice, to say that we've got only one good conversation to have, and it's the obvious at the minute. But no, it is really good news, and who would have thought Leeds United back in the Premier League? Fantastic.
Oh, yes, certainly.
Have you been...
I'm just 14 when they got relegated, so it's been nice to see them see my adult life to be Premier League now, so.
Absolutely. Well, actually, I was 19. My dad told me that. I was talking to my dad because when it was the moment we knew we got promoted. Sorry. No, we don't talk about that. He said you were 19, son, and you when we got relegated. I was like, wow, really? But I remember years and years ago, sitting in front of the television with my dad late at night. Mum went up to bed, and he was like, "Yep, we're gonna watch Match of the Day," and Leeds were on, and it was great. And that was between sort of youth time of this sort of teenage years, but it's back, and hopefully we're there to stay. That's exactly what I think people need to see. But regardless of what team you support, Lisa, wouldn't you agree that a lot of people have always said, I'm sure they've said to you too, that it's important to have Leeds in the Premier League because it's not the same without them, and I'm glad to hear that.
No, it's definitely not. Leeds have always had that struggle of performing well, but when they do perform well, there's always like a door in their way. It's through, and I think now with every team, all they need to do is supporters are really there for the sport for, and all to be like role models for kids to go in and also supporting charities as well. So the team that are playing now is amazing, and especially with the scare of COVID-19. So it's been normality back, and it's nice to see people coming out of their shells and live life without fear.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And you touched on a very good point there, Lisa, about football in general, in the sense of how, they are very community based. It's not just about the game, and not just about the sport itself, but also what they bring to the local area of where they play their football. So for example, Leeds, like you say, we'll talk of Leeds for a moment, obviously, but so they're doing a lot within the community. They help a lot of hospitals and so on, and various campaigns within the actual city itself. And yeah, it's not just a success for the football club itself, but it's also a success for the actual city itself. They've been long awaited, that opportunity to become Premier League status again for so long, and it's good. It's good for a city. So yeah, tourism as well is going to be improved.
Definitely. Still the previous years that have lived so throughout different decades of football, like our biggest Jack that's passed away, and other football passed away, which they were legends, they were champions.
Yeah.
For role for kids, as a community. Leeds have had an amazing team back then. Have had an amazing throughout. It's just the try you will need.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. So we have Lisa with us. So she's a Leeds United fan, and she works within the community. Lisa, talk to us about the community work that you do, like the stuff you do within your own area, I suppose you could say.
Okay, I am the co-founder and head of the St Mary's Association too. There was one previously found my father that many ago, and we help in it's not just St Mads Road, it's also the estate, it's the actual care ward we look after. We provide with assistance, events, as well as working and donating money if we raise. And the main that I do at the moment is in Southern Helen, and I have them with residents throughout the COVID-19, like their shopping, and we successful Halloween stuff, Christmas. Wow. We get to see Santa, so it's basically an organising that award can be that if you put the work in it and people appreciate it, and people up here recognise what you do and it's it as well, which I feel that should always be there for me throughout the rest of my life. As long as I'm helping the community, then it makes me smile.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said it. It is a good feeling, and only until you do it, you actually realise just what benefits you get out of it. It's not all about making money in some places, in some cases. It's all about doing right by the people around you and looking out for one another. And back in the day, I think it's fair to say, when we go back over sort of the 10, 15, 20 years. We used to have a really huge community-based lifestyle, didn't we? Neighbours would be sort of almost family, and it's nice to see that actually that still remains, even if it is through organisations like you say, community groups and so on. But no, it's really, really good.
There's
and also,
there's plenty of funding out there. It's just needing to know how to access it. And there's so many grants and funding and help that you can get from the local authorities. There's funding from Town Council, there's funding from Dover District Council, Kent County Council. It's not really a word of mouth thing, it's knowing where to find it. And the money's never in play of people from profiting. It's volunteers getting grants and money and improving people's ways of life and helping the elderly and children enjoy their lives.
Good. So with the community group that you're referring to then, so are we involved in this particular group with, or shall I say, are you more so involved with councillors of the local authority? You talked about local authority and how you can access funding. Do you have any support from the local councillors from the area or not at the moment?
Yeah, from At the moment, no, but when it was normality of no fear of COVID-19, we Councillor Pauline Beresford, she was lovely. We could contact her. We've got Councillor Sue Jones. She liked to be quite involved in the community centre, and she's helping it function, running our lives out of being closed down and everything. And pretty much the everyone around here is just a community spirit, and they're willing to, and we always get help from the mayor to the community connectors event that we did last summer.
Yeah.
He joined the kids soldiers. So there is places and people they go to, and you'll have to know where they need to go to. So, but that's the lack of knowledge in the to do.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, you mentioned two very well-known councillors and long-standing councillors as well, and very influential councillors know their stuff, certainly, Sue Jones and Pauline Beresford. And I do know the pair. Politically, they're sides apart, but actually the benefit by the local politics, if you wish, and as you know yourself, is that actually, you know, you do come together, you do work together. It's not about politics; it's about working together for the better or the greater cause, and that's something that certainly Sue Jones and also the likes of Pauline Beresford know very much about. But yeah, it's really good because they're two influential characters, and of course, obviously being able to help and come on board with the forum. It opens up other avenues, doesn't it? Not just because of the community side of stuff, but also areas of things that maybe the council are doing that maybe we wouldn't be, or the group wouldn't be so privy to. So it's nice to have that extra arm, if you like, to aid and assist.
Yeah.
You know where you're going and what direction you're going, which is really, really good. It's fantastic. So I'm really pleased, Lisa, that I'm hearing that you're still involved with community groups. I mean, obviously, when we go back a bit, we were obviously with community groups ourselves. We actually didn't we start one?
Yes, we did.
I'm not entirely sure actually what's going on there, but I mean, if you know anything, I mean, certainly if you're happy to talk about it. But it seems it's gone, sadly to say, in various different directions, and maybe not the direction it hoped for. It's certainly changed, wouldn't you say? I don't know. I don't really know. Do you know much about
it's definitely changed. It's definitely changed. The name's changed. The policies and procedures and everything have all changed. And there's also different aspects of branches in that forum now. You have like a carnival court. They have event sector, which they do a Halloween disco at the town hall, which has been followed on from us, what we started, and still continue from Graham. I haven't heard from them for on social media for a long time, but I do get updates from Graham and Jessica and stuff like that. So it is still there. I think if the COVID-19 disappears, I think it'll be back up and running again. So we have more of a clearer picture on what their agenda is for the public.
Yeah, good. And also I think the benefit as well, and I'm sure it'll come about if it hasn't already, is where groups can work together as well, can't they? Not just, like I say, local authority councillors, but also, different groups can work together for a greater cause.
That's right, yeah.
Put resources and heads together, which is really, really good. Yeah, so it has, as you say, we were talking about FADCO, weren't we? Which was the Tower Hamlets.
Yes, that's right.
And what are they called now? I'm a bit behind on
Something Association.
Right, okay.
I think it's Tower Hamlets and Dover Community Association. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think that's roughly around the lines of the actual title of the actual forum now.
Well, there you go then, guys. So you can check that out. Definitely. But also, guys, I want to just give a shout out to your group as well, Lisa. Obviously, we've got you on as a guest, so it'd be nice to actually hear your community group name. And obviously, again, people can. Is it on Facebook? Should I say? Could I ask?
No, we're not on Facebook, so we share the St Radigan's residence page.
Yeah.
Because we got quite a few groups up here. We don't want to be saying that we're better than them ones.
Yeah.
So we use one page. So the St Radigan's Community Centre use it. We have other groups on around our estate that use it. With the school use it for notifications. So we haven't really got a particular page. We've got a page that shares for the group or for the actual estate ward.
Right, that sounds really good. Yeah, well, that's definitely a good approach to have, isn't it? Because again, it's not about egos or being better or worse or whatever. It's actually working together, isn't it? And ultimately, that makes perfect sense. No, that's really, really good. And so, did you say it was the St Radigan's Association?
No, it's the St Radigan's residence page.
Right, there you go then, guys. So have a look at Facebook. You're not on Facebook, did you say? You did say that already, didn't you?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, and they can also go on to the St Radigan's Community Centre website, which also gives them information on different groups and stuff going on the award as well. So the St Radigan's Community Centre is the leader, as I say, of the actual award. They have more of the higher funding that is available and everything like that. So we're there, but we're just a small group.
Good stuff. Well, there you go. Lisa, as we've been waffling away, because it has been a bit of a catch up for us as well, it has been a long time, hasn't it, since we've had a chat at least. And
yes.
We've had some really good times, like I say, working with the community and working within politics when I was a councillor, and how supportive you were of me, and also some of the things we got into, to make things a little bit easier and the processes a little bit easier.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people on the chat, and we've been chatting away, and I've just completely ignored everybody, so I do apologise, guys. So who we got? We've got Graham, actually. Graham's with us, but he's not with us physically. But he says I'm a Chelsea supporter. I didn't even know that, Graham. There you go. Like the colour blue. Okay, well that's a good reason to support a football team, Graham. Graham.
Leeds are blue.
Leeds are blue. Did you say yes? Yes, they are blue. Actually,
Leeds are blue.
They are. But wouldn't you say though, Lisa? Aren't they a bit more sort of Man City blue though? They're like a baby blue, aren't they? Sort of.
Yeah, they are, but they're mainly white. So it's white. I think it's white, blue, and yellow are our main colours.
That's true. It's true, and they're nice colours indeed. And yeah, it's good because when you see football clubs as they go through time, they sort of manifest. They change their sort of marketing, don't they, and so on. But Leeds have been quite consistent. And I think if you remember, there was a time, wasn't there, talking about Leeds again, but there was a time where we changed our crest. Do you remember? And
yes,
the fans weren't happy, and it was like, no, this isn't Leeds. No, we're not having that. And so they went back, didn't they? So really
yes,
good. They listened to the fans, which is really important. Yeah, we want to be known for what we are, and we don't want to
definitely
moving away too quickly. Somebody also says, and I say somebody, that person does have a name, Andrew. He says, I need to get a bigger monitor. It's too small. He says, don't mention the Gooners.
Don't mention the Gooners. Arsenal.
Yeah. No, what's happened to Arsenal, actually? What's happened to them, guys? I mean, it's not been the greatest season for them.
No, but they're in the, I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, FA Cup final, I think.
Yes, they are.
They've got Chelsea.
Yes, they have. Yes, indeed. Yeah, well, you're absolutely right there, Lisa. You knew more than I did on that matter. Thanks very much. Tottenham, Andrew also says about Tottenham, have a nice new stadium. Yeah, they do. And have you heard, Lisa, about that? Talking about the stadium, Andrew, Lisa, they've got these really modernised drinks pumps now, haven't they? Have you seen them?
Yes, I have, yes.
How cool are they?
They are amazing. They are pretty modern technology, definitely in the making there. Yeah. But you can't really. Me personally, because I work in a pub now, and pouring a pint from the pump drinks, it's got to be the old-fashioned wooden way. It's the better taste, I'm afraid. It's. Yeah, modern day technology does ruin things, and sometimes it doesn't. It makes it better, but I always say with the beer pumps, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
That's a very good point. You can say that about a lot of things in life, really. Actually, you find, don't you, that things work, and all of a sudden things then become changed, and you think, well, why did that happen? It worked the last time around. And actually, the change is never always for the best, is it? There'll be teething problems, and then people will crying out for the previous equipment. I totally agree with you. Actually, there's nothing wrong with the traditional hand pump, pint pull. Yeah. Funny. Well done, Lisa. Andrew says no. Well, there you go. If anybody's got a question for Lisa, please throw one in the comments box. Who else have we got here? We have great charity work. Yeah, Andrew's also said. Obviously, we're missing Lisa in the chat because she's with us today, so that's great. I mean, you couldn't be better having someone physically, but so normally it would be Lisa chatting away as well. So nice to see Andrew being so vocal. Thank you very much, Andrew. We are missing Lee this evening, not a problem, but there are things that people need to do, and that's fine. And as I say, there's always better things to do, isn't there, Lisa?
There is, yes.
But
paperwork.
Absolutely. But look, I'm going to try and see if we can ping our Graham a message, because he is he's with us. He is with us. In fact, actually, talking of which, speak of the devil, as they say, he is with us imminently because he's just about to join us, guys. So you will get to see Grem, because without Grem, Ben and Grem wouldn't exist, right? It would just be the Ben show, and that would be dreadful. On the same token, as much as it would be a bit better, having just the Grem show would be worth a watch. But yeah, you know what I mean. You get my drift. So yeah, he will be with us very, very soon. So Lisa, obviously the guys are going to start coming in with some comments. We have got an agenda tonight, and of course, Lisa, you know the agenda. We haven't touched on it at all yet, which is fine, because obviously we're waiting for our good man Graham here. But we can always do this a little bit differently, guys. Lisa, if you want to pick out any in particular, because you're our host this evening, our main guest host. If you want to talk about any particular area of the agenda, please let's have those conversations. We won't do it too scripted to the actual content in order. And here he is.
On the same token, as much as it'd be a bit better,
How are we doing, Graham?
Hi, Graham.
Hello.
He's looking good, isn't he? Hey, this man, he hasn't slept for days, it seems, and he's always looking good, Graham, aren't you? You're always looking ready.
And a nice clean shave.
No.
Look at that. I'll take a leaf out of your book, Graham, really, shouldn't I? Scruffy toe rag, and I.
Well, yeah, we won't go there. We all know you need a shave.
Don't worry, Ben, you're in the same category as Kevin.
But I don't know. I just, there was an expression one bloke at work said to me, or manager said to me once. He said, was it me or was it him that said it? I think I said, no, I might have said it to him actually. There was this thing about Vikings, right? And Vikings have got a statement or saying, and it's that a man without a beard is a woman, right? So it kind of was quite fitting when, of course, similarly like Graham, and rightly so, that he says, "Come on, Ben, get a shave." Actually, with that very moment, it was a similar thing going on at work, and I kind of used that line, and it kind of gave me a bit of a breather. It was kind of a comeback, but that was quite worrying because a lot of the guys that had clean-shaven faces a lot bigger than me, so that was, I was probably going down a slippery path there with that. But anyway. We have Lee, guys. Lisa, we have Lee. Graham, we have Lee. Lee is
Hi, Lee.
here. Hello, Lee. Lisa says, and Graham, we have Lee. I wasn't sure if Lee was in. I do apologise. When you are on a live thing, whatever it is, Facebook or whatever, and you've got comments, and the comments as they come through, normally they come up, don't they? Well, the live stream doesn't do that. It's really mad. So I have to physically move them, which is really irritating because you're in the string of conversation, aren't we, Lisa and Graham? And of course, next thing you know, you're not getting any comments through, but you actually are. Anyway, that's a bit of a tongue twist. So Lee says, oh, okay. Well, Graham says Chelsea is a better blue. There you go. Did you put that in before you come in, Graham? That was sneaky.
I put that up ages ago.
Oh, did you? Well, there you go then. It proves my point there. Well, it's a nice
better blue.
It's a nice blue, but I wouldn't say better.
Leaves are better.
Hopefully, in a few years.
They're a lighter blue, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they need to change their colour, and they might not take 16 years to get anywhere next time.
Oh, Lisa, I might leave you that one.
Just wait until we play. Just wait until we play. All you guys have missed Leeds in the Premier League.
I don't follow football anyway, and everyone that knows me knows that. I just happen to like the colour blue.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Graham, you're absolutely right. It is a nice colour. I think it depends on who wears it well, but we'll leave that down to the van. Obviously, mixed opinion.
Ben's wearing blue. I'm wearing navy blue. So
I'm wearing white.
Yeah.
From River Island, this is. Yeah.
It does look smart, doesn't it?
it's very, very nice. Very dapper.
Donated. I didn't buy it. It was donated to me. Donated to the Gremster.
Oh, was it? That's good.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. Graham, and also Lisa, as you may have seen when we started the show this evening, there was a video clip, Star Trek video clip. Did you see it?
Yes.
And rather than completely forget the fact that it even existed for a moment, which I nearly did, Lisa, we want to talk about this, don't we? Because actually, and Graham, because Lee has just mentioned it, saying about it's rather pertinent to the moment of today's society, and of course I think it has a message, and the message is that we shouldn't, if you got the message there, the message on that is that we shouldn't change history just because it might be inappropriate of the now, simply because we learn by history. We've had this conversation before, Grem, haven't we? We learn by history, and however good or bad the history is, it's good nonetheless, in the sense that we can learn, as I say, from that and improve in areas where we feel is necessary. So we can't go trying to cover up history. We can't, if we don't like it, if you like, we can't just sort of say, well, actually it didn't happen, because it did. And that's a very good point. I think it was a very good message, and thank you, because it was Lee, actually. Thank you, Lee. It was Lee that sent that in, and it was a really, really good video. Not really a big fan of Star Trek, me personally, but I think it's because I'm uneducated in it, and maybe I need to watch a little bit more of it. Lisa, you like Star Trek, don't you?
I am. I'm quite a good fan. I'm all up to date on the new series. I'm waiting for series 3 of the Discovery. Not Discovery. I think it's Discovery. Yeah, the Discovery to come out.
Yeah.
I've seen that clip before, and it does come across of today's society and what we're going on. But people are just repeating the incidents that have happened in history, and they want to cover up the history that's made them what's happened today. Me personally, if history didn't matter, I wouldn't be here. Personally, none at all. If you change the line of time, you're going to change the outcome. So there's no point of repeating itself. We have to learn from this, and we need to respect people's decisions of what's been going on in the past, present, and future. So it does represent that. But the main aspect that I got from it was the mural of the actual situation of that those people went through that disaster.
Yeah.
And by pulling down history's momentums is not going to get your point of view across. It's just going to show you it's vandalism, it's criminal in the aspect of doing it in the first place.
Absolutely, Graham.
So that's what was the main.
Yeah.
It's also going to anger people, isn't it? It's going to anger a lot of, if I can use the term, like patriotic people that love their nation. Not saying that those aren't that patriotic, don't love their nation, but everyone's got their own reasons. But it's just going to fuel resentment against these people.
Yeah.
I mean, what we've got to take into consideration here is the fact that when the United Kingdom was one of the first countries to cease these slave trade back in 1807. Sorry, I thought someone was coming into my studio then. Never mind. It's thrown me off now, guys. I'm really sorry. It's well, back in those days when that was initiated, it took time to get to eradicate it. It took over 30 odd years, didn't it? I mentioned this yesterday.
But it was the British people that actually started to fund to stop the slavery. We're one of the countries should be proud of stopping this and funding to stop this, and we still frown upon it to this day.
Exactly.
So the blame shouldn't be on what was being done. It's the point of how they're going to come across towards it. But stop criminality, full stop. Stop it. You don't need to do that to get yourself an attention. There's other ways to get yourself an attention.
The issue as well is the fact that back in those days when people looked at a situation, a problem solved, they dealt with it within the way that was acceptable for that time period. Now, that was dealt with that way because it was acceptable, as I will repeat again, for that time period. We can't be held responsible for those individuals at the moment that are joining in and with the Black Lives Matter movement, for example, with the protests. We can't be held responsible as a nation for their dislike about our history. It's not our fault that they weren't alive back then, because they're alive now.
Yeah.
It was the best way and the acceptable way for that period of time, and we have moved on. We have evolved. I don't know one racist person at all, and all this talk about different colour, it ends up causing a situation where people will now walk past someone of a different colour in the street and take a second glance. How is that going to make that person feel? It's not because they are just causing this. They're causing a situation, making it a lot worse.
Yeah, they are, Grem. And do you know what? Sorry, Lisa.
As the saying goes, you wasn't born to be like that, you're taught like it.
Exactly.
And do you know what worries me over the whole thing, and the fact that it's being highlighted so heavily as it is now? An issue that maybe wasn't seen really before, although maybe some would say it is. You've got an issue with youngsters, like children of today. Children don't see colour. Children don't see politics, religion. They don't. When children see children as friends, they see them as friends. They don't. So now we've got this stigmatism of all this labelling, and so you're going to have children have to then now, in their minds, get somewhat confused by having them question and try and go into areas of friendship that they don't even need to go into, which could potentially jeopardise their friendship. So they're being taught things.
You are right, Ben. You are right in what you say, because the Black Lives Matters movement has created
division,
a division in respect of labelling a certain race of people, and they've now created that. But that's not going to be the problem, is it? It's going to be someone else's problem.
But Graham, statistics have shown it's children in primary schools don't see colour.
No.
It's when they go to secondary school they start segregating themselves because they understand the actions of adults around them and they believe it's good. They believe it's okay to do it.
You may get some situations at primary schools now, though, if you think about this. If a child says to their parent, for example, what's all this happening, Dad or Mum? They will then tell their child, oh, it's a Black Lives Matter movement, and they're fighting for the rights of Black people to be more accepted, to be counted as an individual, which they are already done as. And so therefore that child will go back to school, and if they've got a black kid in a class, no one can say that they're going to look at that child, they're going to start looking at that child differently, all because of what's just gone on.
Yeah, and I do. And Graham, I do similarly, and Lisa as well. I do worry that my children are going to school for a good reason, of course, to learn, but also I worry about what they are just being taught because of the fact of the media and because of the fact of what's going on at the moment. And it does worry me because there are certain things I don't think is necessary for children to know, because they're children for a reason. They're children. I'm not saying they shouldn't be educated, of course, because every education is a good education, but I think there's certain things in life at certain times of age where it's just unnecessary, and children at the age, I think, between 0 and 10, so nursery through till 10 or secondary school years, should not really be thinking about whether to friend or defriend someone just because of their colour or their position in life. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. But sadly, that's the world we live in, and you're going to get.
It is.
But this is something else. Lisa, I want to show you a quick video. We're going to stay on the subject, but I want to show you a very quick video, and it's on the subject of what we're talking about here, and it's about a protester who, sadly, has. Again, you would expect and suggest is taking things too far. Just watch this, guys.
And I was getting out of the way. You had to hit me.
I don't know if you saw that, guys, but that's a protester, BLM protester, who had been spotted on the top of a police car, stamping on top of a police car, and was then almost in awe to complete awe of confusion, as to wondering why the police took stern action as they did. Well, as you saw, they removed the gentleman off the car. And used the force of batons, but so again, who's at fault here? Because it does occur to be, doesn't it, that the police are getting a lot of backlash, but actually we had this conversation in the last episode, Grem, didn't we? But the thing, of course, is they're actually policing and they're doing right by the system in that sense. You can't go about jumping on people's cars. I mean, what's all that about? There you go.
Me personally, the way that the police are approaching this now, they're approaching with caution anyway, and to make sure they haven't put themselves in danger. However, the respect is not there, and the respect of damaging our Queen's police property, which the taxpayer is funding for that, the police, I feel, had approached it in the right way, especially with the baton, because you don't know what goes through the policeman's mind when this situation happens. They've been trained and taught to, but I think that's disrespectful on the pedestrian side of jumping on the police car. Sorry. I wouldn't like it if someone jumped on mine. I would surely call the police and get the police down and things like that. The police are there to enforce the law. They are there to protect the helpless. And me personally, if just say a police officer was behind me and 10 people started running towards them with machete, I will be a patriot and stand in front of that police officer and I will protect them, because they are protecting my fellow countrymen of this land, and I'm providing them their job of training, which they're supposed to do.
Well, you're spot on, Lisa, and that's not just my opinion, that's the opinion of Lee. He says you're absolutely right, and also Andrew says, again, 100% correct. And also, just a quick shout out as well to those in the chat. Andrew has opened up a communication dialogue with Adam Morrison-Jones. Now, we mentioned him earlier in the episode. Now, he's a local comedian and he is busy. He has come back and he says he's very good. He's very busy with gigs and starting again next week. So yeah, the man is pretty tied up with lots of work, which is understandable. So if you are watching, Adam, when you are available, certainly let us know. Let the Ben and Grem Show know. Do so by messaging us from the Ben and Grem Show or on the Ben and Grem Show page, and we will get you on. We'll love to get you on as a guest as well. I think it'd be a great laugh for the viewers as well, because you've got some great stuff to put out there. Maybe you can do some of your work as well, but we'll leave that down to you. So yeah, Lisa, you're absolutely right. I mean, what a topic. I mean, it's an ongoing thing, and I think there has been, as I said before in previous episodes, there has been a lot more education being pulled through, given from the moment it started, the BLM marches, until now. So I think we're seeing people sort of self-educate and sort of see through some of the political, I'll say sound bites, but virtual signalling is probably the one word to use, isn't it, Grem? Which is something you suggested previously. Grem, shall we go on to something else? Lisa, what do you want to talk about? We've got a lot of things to talk about in the chat, actually.
I would like to talk about cybercrime increasing.
Right.
Purely to the fact that I think that's a must subject, because it's happening in this country now, and I think that people should be aware of what's going on, because there's so much fraud, there's so much access to people's details, especially with 5G going up and all the machinery, and also the Huawei getting banned maybe, or TikTok might be down. So it's going to affect our country as a whole, and I think that government should start realising that people's internet data and details need to be respected and protected. Really, the crime rate needs to drop, because there's some really scary technology out there. Some scary technology.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And as much as, on that basis, as much as America would see themselves as a world dominator, and that they are, I suppose you could say, the President of the United States of America, regardless of who the president is at any one given time, is probably the most powerful man on earth, or woman. But having said that, there is going to be competition all the while, isn't there? And you're going to have likes of China, again, a big entity. You've got Russia as well. And they're always going to flex muscles, I understand and expect. And whether not, I mean, there's a lot coming out about Huawei, isn't there, and the 5G and all the intelligence that's being taken from that, and we ask ourselves, is it happening? I mean, is it speculation? Is it happening? Because, we know that China's been under fire a lot recently with not just COVID-19 issues, but also, Huawei. But also the Chinese are stepping forward, and they're saying, look, we don't want to ruin any of our, good relations that we already have in place. We want to protect what we do have. So they're kind of reaching out a little bit, and it makes you start to question, actually, well, they're not coming offensively, they're coming defensively. Is that right, Grem? They're not coming offensively. They're coming towards us defensively, which, in a good way. I think that's the way I wanted to put it. So for that reason, maybe it's a good time for us all to sort of, I say all, America and the US, to sort of sit back and maybe hear them out a little bit, because I don't know. What do you think? I mean, because they are. I mean, if you put it this way, anything we order these days seems to come from China, doesn't it, guys?
It does, yeah. Well, majority of the technology in my house either I would say about 60% China, I would say about 2% British. So China and all around that particular area, like Hong Kong was inside China. You've got Japan. Their technology is far more advanced than us British. We've got no more factories that are able to open up and produce. I would say a floating tray to help the elderly if they want a cup of tea or something like that. We haven't got the progression there, but there's still too much openings of doors where cyber criminals can attack. Do you get what I mean? There's too many flaws in technology at the moment, and are us, the human race, ready for this? Because for one, I really don't understand technology half the time.
Yeah,
it scares me.
Yeah, it does. It is scary. I mean, it is scary. I mean, we can be quite aggressive towards China in the sense of the whole coronavirus, and maybe how the World Health Organization handled that along with China, and the suggestion of some form of collusion that was involved in the whole process, namely around just how much information that the world was given through the World Health Organization, and the suggestion of which China had the World Health Organization cover up or keep under wraps, let's say, because it was underestimated of the severity of the virus itself. But although whether that be it true or not, we have to respect the fact that they are a leading manufacturer in the world, and one of, at least. And as much as we can be that, obviously, and that's what we're doing, we're building now what we once had. We had all this great stuff once. We did manufacture a lot of British-born materials, and so there's nothing wrong with us being able to do that again. But I think in the meantime, there's nothing wrong with also working with the rest of the world as well. And particularly China take a lead from their book, which is, regardless of their faults, have a lot to be proud about. Graham, what's your take on it?
I'm all over the place, mate, because I'm not quite following the program here.
Oh, okay. Well,
because I wasn't fire warned, was I, Ben?
Well, maybe not. No, it has been a bit of a rush job, but you're doing well, Graham. We're all doing good.
Doing well. I'm doing
like
crap.
old times.
He's doing great, actually.
Graham, you're doing great. Graham, talk about China's firework display. It wasn't fireworks, it was drones, wasn't it? You were telling me about this.
I can't remember.
Drones.
Can't remember. Okay. Well, yeah, China used drones to do their firework display round about I think it was New Year's Eve, and it was just it was amazing to see the technology they've used to create less carbon in like explosive. Really, there were little drones all flying together, and they were trying to tell people like heal the world, love the world. It was amazing. The firework display was absolutely amazing from China, and to be honest, the rest of the country should follow suit, because why should we fire explosives to go in when those drones that they've invented are doing exactly the same thing, but it's cleaner for the earth. So yeah, I can understand on that. China is a representative of the world for future technology, but there is flaws.
Yeah, I mean, obviously their way of life is certainly different to the Western world, you know, certainly our world, isn't it, Graham? You know, there's a lot of things going on where you could sort of say, well, you know, take like Turkey, for example, their human rights. I mean, of course, one of the big things was when Turkey was looking to join the European Union, at the time we were members, was they were refused by the European Union simply because of the way that their human rights were. And it needed to brush up on certain things before it can be deemed acceptable to join the bloc. You know, and so the same thing I suppose you could say with China is of, you know, like, for example, when you need maybe an organisation to come forward and suggest to a nation, you know, you need to do things better, you would hope to believe that, like, for example, the World Health Organisation would be that organisation to do it. The reason being for that is they're independent in the sense they're not political, or shouldn't be political at least, and for that reason they're neutral, so therefore they're in the position to say it. Obviously it does come harder for a nation if you've got US or us or others nations, you know, questioning China's ways, because of course then it can be a bit tit for tat. So I suppose this is where the system is breaking down a little bit, you know, and this is where I think, you know, maybe the World Health Organization need to learn by some of the recent mistakes and improve by them, because if we're going to respect them, they have to show that respect by operating in the most best manner possible. Lee says, I think some things should remain private, trying to think of an example. Okay. Am I jumping forward on that one? I might be jumping forward a little bit. Lee says, if I had to shed my opinion on it becoming a problem, he says, with the freedom of information, for me, maybe my age, I remember liking the idea that I was an individual and could keep my own affairs to myself. Yeah, well, yeah, that makes sense, Lee. See, this is the thing, we've got to be careful, haven't we, Graham? If you want to talk about this, you want to pick up on this, I mean, we've got to be careful, haven't we, about, you know, freedom of information and the freedom of press, should we say, because again, without them, as much as they can be a hindrance sometimes on certain topics, they can also be good and advocate democracy as to how it should be. You know, we need to have people be aware of what's going on around them. So again, but there's improvements that they could have, certainly, in the way that they operate as well at times, which is understandable nonetheless. Yeah, what do you think, Lisa? Do you think, you know, freedom of press and, you know, freedom of information?
The freedom of information is privacy. I don't want people to know what my stuff are. And personally, it's my knowing and my knowledge. I don't want to share that. Especially when it comes to the government way of like the Information Act, the Public Information Act, and stuff like that. That's it's there, but it should be limited to the discretion of that person.
Absolutely.
Because I don't publicly want to announce that, I don't know, I bought 20 toilet rolls last week, but for some reason, how did you get the information? Oh, because a receipt went through with your bank card details. I'm like, well, how did you get that? You shouldn't know that.
Yeah, now you raise a good point there, and actually this is it, isn't it? It's like even when you get emails, spam emails and things like that, you know, you don't know what sort of links it's got and if it's tracking you or tracing you, or you know what I mean? With the technology we've got of today, this is the whole thing about Huawei, isn't it? And it goes back to that story, isn't it, about, you know, how much information do people have of us? But we've got to have freedom of privacy. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. But you know, it's a very difficult one, but I think because you've got to draw a line, it's got to be a very, you know what I mean, well written line. Because, you know, you don't want to take away the opportunity for the press to have access to things, certainly, but in the same breath you don't want them to have access to too much, and what's deemed to be acceptable and what's not. And certainly when it comes down to people's personal lives, and that's one thing I particularly don't like in the sense of politics. You've got politicians that, yes, might misbehave, and of course a few have done that over the years, but sometimes the scandals can be somewhat, not over exaggerated, but off topic, to a point where what's it got to do with what they're doing, in the sense of, well, does it actually change the way they are as a politician? Not entirely, but you're trying to deface them as being a genuine person simply because of, for whatever reason, and that's unacceptable. You know, if it's about your job and your inability to be able to do it, then fair enough. But their personal life is another matter altogether. So I think the media, that's where they could improve on things. Yeah, what do you think, Grem? Do you agree, or?
No, I do. Yeah, I do agree. I do agree the fact that not why should our personal data be freely out there for everyone to see?
Yeah.
You know, it's not right.
Hey guys, you want to see a bit of magic? Look at that. You can actually see. You can see through my glass. Well, that's not hard, is it? Because it's glass. I realise what I've done there. All right. Start again, shall we? No, actually. That wasn't. No, there was a reason for why I did that. Lee, you might be able to bail me out on this moment of stupidity. Lee and I, we had a chat on Zoom actually a little while back, and he had a bottle that he held up, and if you've got a green screen, if it's a certain colour, Lee might be able to pick me up on this. If it's a certain colour, it will go see-through. But of course, I didn't do a very good example with a see-through. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on, Grem, shall we? Right, so next topic. Again, Grem, how are we going to play this? Because obviously...
I don't know, Bob. Don't know, because it's all over the place.
It is.
So
it is.
You just do what you're doing.
Right.
And I will try and follow.
Okay, well, in that case then, we'll both be on the hop on this then, all right? We'll both be hanging out there because... we're going to allow Lisa to dictate the evening, all right? Because Lisa has...
Oh, no.
Yes, she has the agenda. So there you go, Lisa. So you can pick our next topic again, if you would like. And me and Greg look worried.
Okay, the first former Minister of Scotland.
Right.
Should we go on that one?
Okay.
And go on then, Graham. I'll let you start first.
I haven't read it.
He hasn't
Oh,
read
you
it.
haven't read it?
I've had no time whatsoever to read any of these.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem because I thought we lost everything then. My screen went off. That's not a problem because I'll read it out, Graham. All right. Lisa, which number is it?
I can't see because my main screen is
Of course it is.
the live chat. So if I take it off.
Well, have a chat, Graham, with our Lisa for a little minute because while you do that, I will find it, ladies and gentlemen. I've lost it.
It's point 4.
Oh, yes, it is. I've just found it as you said that. Look, see you go. Great minds think alike, Graham. See, just as why you're here, really. If you weren't, I don't know how we'd survive. Okay, right.
Well, there's always one diva in like as a co-host, and I'm the diva tonight.
In the most best way possible, yes.
Yeah. Again.
And the man of the beauty as well. Right, so the first former First Minister of Scotland, Alex Salmond. He has an Alex Salmond show. No, that's nothing to do with it, is it, Lisa? Is it?
No, he's set up his own group.
Has he? Right.
That's oh dear. Graham, help us.
Graham, you said
we are point 4, aren't we, about the First Minister of Scotland?
Yeah.
That's it, yes.
No point starting with the First Minister of Scotland, is there?
I don't know, is there?
No.
I don't know, we're all over the place.
Right, okay, we'll start again. I'll carry on as I am. Right. Do you know what? I'm not laughing, really. I'm laughing at myself. I'm not sure whether I'm laughing at myself or laughing at Graham's reactions here. I think he's going to murder me.
I swear we was more organised than this when we used to do the forum.
We were, weren't we? I think we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were.
A lot more organised.
Graham, can you just clarify the actual name of the forum now? Because we couldn't remember.
It's FADCA.
And FADCA standing for Tower Hamlets.
And Dover Community Association.
Yes, I got it right, I think.
She did. She did. And if I had a round of applause, I'll give you one. But I haven't. But you need one, so maybe you can get that later. We'll put that in the chat. I don't know, just do emoji hands all the way along the screen or something.
Okay.
Right, so the former First Minister of Scotland, Alex Salmond, hosts a new political chat programme, The Alex Salmond Show, right?
That's it.
On Russia Today. I think this is the same subject. Where he vows to battle the mainstream media narrative and take on...
That's a bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Russia Today, a news corporation that the SNP don't like.
Ah, I know. That's a term for the different...
Where's he going with this? And why on earth have they got someone like that on there?
Yeah. Yes, so it says to battle the mainstream media narrative and take on the news out of the Westminster nexus. Alex Salmond's show will take viewers inside the Welsh, Irish and Scottish parliaments, also looking at the government of Northern Ireland, not forgetting Westminster. So that's interesting because, yeah, you're right, Grem. I mean, actually, since you're quite clued up on this, and do you want to...
But who in their right mind would want to take... Who? Who's starting?
You.
You are, Graham.
It has to be you,
I
Graham.
am. Right. Oh, jolly good. I shall start then. I can't. Well, I was starting, but I got interrupted. I was on a mini roll.
Swiss roll.
I don't like Swiss roll.
Do you like a bit of angel cake?
Oh, lemon
I find that
drizzle.
dry. Oh yeah, that's nice. Lemon drizzle. Yeah.
What's that other
Chocolate
one?
fudge cake.
What's that one I like? You won't know that because I haven't told you it.
Carrot
Can't remember what
cake.
it's called, Graham. It's a bit like angel cake. It's in the same category. Battenberg.
Marble cake. Oh,
Battenberg.
Battenberg with marzipan.
Love it.
Yeah, well, you can only eat so much of that, can't you? Because the marzipan's a bit of a acquired taste.
Yes. It is.
Oh, what is that? That's a new point, isn't it? Cakes. Oh, jolly good. Shall we move on to donuts next?
jolly
Maybe
good.
chocolate digestive biscuits or something.
Why not? Why not? Does it have to be rich tea though? Can we have? Do they do a chocolate biscuit rich tea? No, do they?
Anyway, getting back to point 4, which is probably point 3 or 5 at the moment. This chat show of Alex Salmond.
Yeah.
Why on earth does the RT, for example, think that anyone's going to want to listen to his narrative on the topic anyway?
Well, I'm going to try and give him a little bit of credit and say maybe he's changing his view a little bit. Maybe he's becoming a bit more open-minded.
Maybe his view that he had before then wasn't actually his view. It was just because it was he was in the limelight. He was getting some sort of publicity from it. He was feeling good.
And that was maybe the narrative of the SNP, wasn't it? Maybe. Because I found that of another politician. What's his name? Anyway.
Can't barrage the Farage.
No.
Farage.
George Galloway.
Michael Farage.
George Galloway.
Yeah, George Galloway.
Now he was similar in the sense that, correct me if I'm wrong, but he would never be somebody that would strike me as somebody I'd like to listen to. But then these days he seems to be a little bit more outspoken and more sort of. Do you know what I mean? Am I right and wrong in saying that, guys?
No, because I've kind of starting to listen to more to Priti Patel.
Yeah.
She's my absolute ideal of a woman of a situation is in the right job. She tells it what it is. She doesn't beat around the bush. She listens to the people. So yeah, I'm leaning to more seeing her on her opinions of current situation government, because I don't know. For one, I know it's going to sound a bit weird, but she's a woman. She's in that power. She's in that position, which has never been more notifying to me. There's plenty of other women in the government and in political parties, but she's I think the main one that I've actually took interest in.
Yeah, Lisa, you raise a good point there, and it goes to show that it doesn't matter whether you're male or female. You know, you can do an equal job, equally well-rounded job, and that's a good point, because Priti Patel, she has got education behind her. She has got experience. It seems she's, she's been appointed in a role of which I think she does have some knowledge of, and Boris Johnson credits him for doing that, mixing it up a bit, but. Yeah, I think the challenge I think she's got at the moment, certainly, Graham, isn't it? I would say, and Lisa, is that, and the folks at home, is that she has got a very difficult subject to look at when it comes to the movement situation around France and the UK. You know, the migrant crisis. Obviously,
it's not going to be easy for her, is it, Ben? Because of the legislation that's all around it. I mean, she's coming out, as Lisa said, with the right terminology, the right words. She's giving the people what we've wanted to hear for years.
Yeah.
But there's so many rules and regulations that need to be adapted and changed before any of what she's actually saying is going to be possible. So even though she's saying the right things, it's probably going to take about 5 years or more to initiate the movement of sending individuals back.
Yeah,
for example.
absolutely.
That's one of the things she said.
Is that your phone, Ben?
Yeah, that was my makeshift teleprompter. That's gone. I don't know where we are now. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know where we are either, mate, so we're in the same boat, aren't we?
Yeah, trouble is, I think it sunk a long time ago, Grem, didn't it? No, we're all right. We're all right. We've got Lisa to bail us out today.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Do you like that, Lisa?
Stick a finger in a hole, we'll float back up.
Put what?
Stick a finger in a hole and we'll float back up. Stick
Graham,
a
it's 16
finger
minutes to go
in a
before 9
hole
o'clock,
and
mate.
we'll float back up. Yes.
Oh my god!
Well, there we have it. That's a little smile. Look at Graham. I love it. Anyway.
Smile, Graham.
I know I can't smile at the moment
Yeah, he says that.
because I don't know what's going on.
I'd hate
We're
to see when he does
picking
smile.
different subjects from the agenda, Graham.
Yeah, I gathered that, but that's not what it should be. But too late. It's already started, and we might as well just continue it. So, how many have we actually got left to do? Bearing in mind, time is
8.
now 8:45.
7. Well, this is Graham. Actually,
We've done 3.
we've done 3 out of 10. What's our 4?
3,
well-
including the Star Trek clip. That's 4.
So what's our
We
next
don't
topic?
include that one. But that Star Trek clip was meant to be attached to the history one. Didn't go quite to plan, did it, Ben?
Well, no, I'll tell you what it was.
God.
Shall I explain my motives here? Shall I or not? Do you think? Is it necessary?
Go on then.
Right, okay, so the plan has it was, because our Grem is one of the most busiest men on the planet, and looking great as ever, even though despite the fact he doesn't get very much sleep, this chap, he came on the show as and when he did, and I thought, I know what to do. I'll stall the viewers by playing a quick video before I go on, and then I'll do a bit of chat, not bore people too much, and then when Graham comes on, it will all sort of fit or knit together. Did that work, guys, or not?
No.
No.
Then it never works. From previous working together, we've always had an agenda and we all would never complete it, or we're like 5 hours into just like even a halfway mark.
But it always worked
It's
out. It worked out in the end, didn't it? Didn't it? Always?
yeah.
It always.
Yeah, I think that's what Graham get nervous about. Is it going to be a repeat of what we used to be like?
No, Graham's good. Like I said, the show would not be the show without Graham. So, Graham, there you go.
God.
You know this. Yeah, he's good.
Back in the room.
Oh, look
Now.
at her.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining the Ben and Grem Show.
Exactly.
We have our guest here, Lisa. Looking beautiful as ever.
Thank you.
Well, he's not lying, is he?
No.
So Lee says, I agree, Lisa. Although the fact that she's a woman is irrelevant to him. No, absolutely. To me as well, and Grem, and the rest of you, I'm sure. Most people are looking for someone who can be outspoken and talk some sense, and doing just that. She has my ear. I hope she doesn't, mate. You might want to.
I only mentioned her gender, Ben. Is that a lot? Us women, have been fighting to be empowered and equal with men. And me personally, as you know, I'm ex-forces. I'm one of these people. I'm a woman that feels I can do just as what a man can do, and seeing women be empowered like that, it gives especially like my niece and my other young female followers of mine, they see me and they feel empowered. They're like, oh, she's a woman, she's in that situation. I want to be her. That's why I said her why I mentioned her gender.
Well, just on that note, I want to say that I can totally understand where you're coming from, because the women I know, incredibly fit in the job that they do, they can actually outwork me when it comes to fatigue. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's an age thing, Grem. I don't know if you can say this yourself, and guys in the chat, but like, you know, as a bloke, you know, I don't think it's a bloke thing or a female thing in particular, but let's just say it seems that a lot of women I seem to come across today are very energetic, and they can do the same, if not better. And certainly I can say that from my end of the woods. You know, so yeah.
Women are better at managing tasks, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're better at managing more than one task at once. Us men, we are somewhat inadequate in that department. And it's even worse when you are actually a co-host with another man. Oh, it's that way, isn't it, when we go like, yeah, that way.
Right.
And you believe to know what's going to be coming up in the show, and then it's a bit like spaghetti junction.
But if it goes to plan, it'll be boring.
It needs to be structured. There needs to be foundations to springboard from.
Sounds like a swim.
We are in a blender at the moment. we have somehow blended about 4 or 5 topics all together.
You've blended well, Grem.
I haven't blended anything.
You've come out well in that mug. Look,
As long as the viewers like it.
No, this is going to go down as a comedy sketch. I think we should do it again sometime.
Grem, Lee says don't go down that path. Grem, you are one of a kind. One of a kind.
Well, there's only one me, thank God.
Well, no, there's probably another.
Oh, no, Lorraine, you've been on TV, Grem.
Oh, no, get out of there. No, don't go down that route, please.
Right.
Bring that up.
Before the viewers get bored of looking at me doing nothing, I want to, and Grem, actually, we can look at you doing nothing, mate. You're okay. You're camera friendly. I'm just somebody out of the hedge. Look at the state of it. But yeah. Lisa, what's our next topic? Or Graham? I mean, I don't know. You guys.
No, because I don't even know where the hell we are, Ben. So don't ask me.
Okay.
God's sake.
Lisa, where would you like to go next?
I don't know, because I can't remember the rest of the agenda without looking and coming off the video.
Right. Okay. I'll talk of the next topic then, shall I? Okay. Right. This is an interesting one, I think. As NASA reports, it's a NASA thing, yeah, that there are 5 asteroids, not astronauts. There's 5 asteroids that are heading towards our way this week. 4 of which over 50 meters in diameter. Research from Brazil has identified some 19 space rocks of interstellar origin in our solar system. That's quite scary, isn't it? We always hear these stories, but we never actually, and thankfully, ever see an impact on them, which is good. I think they say, don't they, a lot of the time that when these things come into the Earth's orbit, they burn up, which is quite convenient. But yeah.
It is. It's very lucky that we've got that protection out there, if you think about it. Otherwise, well, we wouldn't be around.
50 metres, though, in diameter, Graham. That's huge. I mean, what's that? That's a few football pitches, isn't it? 50 metres, Lisa?
Yeah, I think so. But hopefully it will burn up in the atmosphere, as you said.
Yeah, break up and give us some shooting stars effect.
Yeah, maybe we might see it tonight, Graham, after the show.
Oh, how exciting! Yes, let's have a look at that.
Shooting over the castle.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, that was a short one, short and brief. What's anybody got to say
about shooting over the castle?
I can talk about the atmosphere, especially when it comes to COVID-19.
Well, that's why I thought I'd mention that subject, Lisa, because I knew that you were going to come in on it. Thank you very much. Go for it. So even though the atmosphere is a protected layer of Earth, and we have like the ozone layer, and as these meteorites will come through, and it is it's a previous experience. Scientists have proven that it will burn up. However, I feel throughout COVID-19 lockdown, I feel that Earth has actually had time to heal, and
maybe what we was doing throughout the whole of lockdown, we can carry on with it. It's like as soon as McDonald's and KFC are open, let's chuck all the litter over the floor and just destroy our beautiful country that we've got. And what people have got to understand is that these meteorites, they're coming to Earth, they're coming and following a pattern of gravity that have been fly through space. But we also got to understand is that that's a danger to our human species. So we've got to start thinking of looking after our own planet and protecting, like these meteorites coming to into our world and causing this disaster damages that can happen if we haven't got an ozone layer. So I do feel as well fruit is an amazing fruit this year. There's plenty and many that I am seeing. I for one have got pumpkins absolutely growing everywhere in my garden, which I tend to struggle quite often every year just to get 5. So I do feel that in government there should be some sort of a weekend lockdown here and there, or a week lockdown, just to improve that ozone layer and to enjoy our shooting stars going through and seeing them instead of going through and destroying our beautiful Earth.
Well said, Lisa. And you mentioned about COVID-19 there for a moment, didn't you? I want to just bring you onto a very short clip about COVID-19, or a situation with COVID-19, as to a statistic which has been wrongly used. Have a look at this.
Well, Charles, they really haven't given us much of an explanation at this point. The way we found out is I was asking the county health officer about 2 coronavirus deaths involving people in their 20s and whether they had any underlying conditions. Then one of his answers surprised us.
The first one didn't have any. He died in a motorcycle accident.
New questions tonight about the accuracy of the state's coronavirus death numbers. Orange County Health Officer Dr. Raul Pino telling us one person reported to have died from COVID was killed in a motorcycle accident. So was it removed from the data?
I don't think so. I have to double check. We were arguing. We were discussing and trying to argue with the state. Not because of the numbers. I mean, it's 100. It's not make any difference if it's 99. Yeah. But the validity that the fact that the individual didn't die from COVID-19, died in a crash. But you can actually argue that it could have been the COVID-19 that caused him to crash. So I don't know the conclusion of that one.
Well, there you go. So coronavirus and COVID-19 and wrongly misinterpreted deaths. As you saw in the video, motorcycle accident, and it was counted as a death. It was investigated and it's been taken off the record as being considered a death of COVID-19. But we've seen that across the world, haven't we? We've seen people suggest that figures have been somewhat inaccurate in that. Well, I think firstly, before we go on from that point, I think we will say people have used other illnesses as being another factor in the death of a COVID-19 figure. You know what I mean? It's not just being COVID-19 in itself. Would you agree with that, guys?
No. Well, I've known from a friend. Unfortunately, their father passed away from a heart attack, and when she got the death certificate, it said COVID-19 as responsible of death. And then now they're fighting a court battle to change that, because they know that they've got copies of the medical records stating he died of a heart attack, not COVID-19. So I think it's not just in America; it's all over the world. They're just counting deaths to the toll, because it was too many numbers to count, and it was too much information that we had manpower reading. Really, the documentation wasn't there. It was too many. It was too many for people to actually count and tally and separate them in categories. I know it sounds a bit horrible saying that.
More easy for them, isn't it? I suppose to just label someone with COVID-19, then they don't have to fill in the rest of the paperwork. Bang, done.
So it leads or begs the
not
question.
Good, is it?
No, Graham, you're absolutely right, and Lisa, you got a point there as well. But then, doesn't it not suggest, it begs the question though, is that how severe is this situation with this pandemic? I mean, is it as bad as they make out, or is it not? I mean, I'm not saying and suggesting for a second that it's not happening, or it hasn't happened. I mean, there's some people that have had some very good stories over the subject. Not good, but, sad stories, but detailed stories. Yeah, don't you think? I mean, what are the initial figures? No one will really know, will they? I mean, interesting.
No. But then, like everyone keeps going on. 1920, we had another pandemic, as everyone. I think it was the Spanish flu. Why haven't we gone through the data from that pandemic and we've learned from their mistakes and what they found that was improving? And like the Star Trek said again, it's to teach people what's happened. This is what it is. You need to understand our data and what we've experienced so you don't have to go through it again.
Yeah.
So why aren't we going into our history and learning what the scientists and the doctors learned from what happened from that pandemic? And then 100 years prior to that, there was another one. And if you actually look into the histories, it seems to be another repeat occurrence every 100 of years or so.
Very true. No, right, Graham.
No, it is.
Right.
It's not good.
This is an odd one. We talk about police. We talk about their effectiveness, and maybe in certain situations we need to give them a little bit of slack. But there's a strange one that's happened recently in the news, and it's to do with a motor truck driver. Lisa, do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
All right, okay. Well, I'll read it out, guys. Graham, and the same applies to you and for the viewers as well. And we'll have a little chat about this. But basically, there's a story that's come about. It says, in the sleepy Derbyshire town of Matlock, a most heinous crime took place on the 28th of April this year. A lorry driver had pecked, right? So, pecked on the cheek, a 70-year-old woman after she helped him free his stuck truck under a bridge by directing traffic. The man thanked her with a kiss, and after the incident, Derbyshire police appealed to the public for help tracking down the suspect. So you've got a bit of a manhunt now. So that man is the truck driver is being questioned for potential sexual assault. It's bizarre, that one, isn't
Yeah. There's so much grey areas in that scenario. There's always a chance of crying wolf. Sorry, and I really don't understand why people feel the need to cry for that or call the police when it was probably innocent. There was no intention by it, or there's too much eggshell trampling on these days. It's like when you do your first aid, you've got to do it this way because they can accuse you of this, they can accuse you of that. You can look at someone and say, you've looked at me funny. You could say something good about them, but then they could say it's slander.
Yeah.
People need to understand is that names do hurt. The sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. They do. You name someone doing that, that's it. People are gonna follow. People are gonna follow like sheep. They're gonna literally pounce on this opportunity. So it really does. It makes me angry in a way. It's like get the true facts, not what you feel that it should be.
Yeah, good point, Graham. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, Lisa. Very well worded that.
Well, this is another interesting fact because I say fact, but it's certainly, again, something that stirred in the news. And we're talking of Russia Today. Now, Russia Today is a media outlet that has been sort of deemed to be a media outlet that tends to speak of a particular media that we don't necessarily see in the mainstream. And it says here, the story is this. It says, International Broadcasting Association berates Latvia and Lithuania for their political decision to ban Russia Today. Latvia and Lithuania should reverse without delay their bans of TV network Russia Today, a UK-based trade group said, adding that the decision appeared to be political in the nature of the ban. Are there any errors based around the failure to stick to due process? I mean, see, this is the thing. It's, again, we're talking about freedom of speech and freedom of press, isn't it? I mean, Russia Today are going to be seen, I think, fair to say, as a frowned upon organisation simply because of the way that they broadcast. They don't hold back. You know, they say what they feel necessarily needs to be said. But it's the control, isn't it, that maybe some countries are having over nations, in that, you know, governments are trying to limit, I suppose, what is free for us to know, you know, and of course that's where you get corruption, and it's a bit crazy, isn't it? Do you think?
It is crazy, and it's mind. I think it's mind control. In some aspects, but then it's that individual, oh, I'm going to follow him because he's doing it, really, or no, I'm going to stand up, this is my view, no, I'm a strong viewist about this. There's people don't want to think for themselves these days. They just want to follow what other people want to do. They don't know what their whole agenda on everything regarding around that. There's it's like I probably could get followers to run in the sea with me, and that again, it's the person's own perspective. Are they
Boxing Day dip?
Are they yeah, that.
Is that what you meant by that?
Yes, I tried to get there.
Have you ever done that, Lisa? I've never done it.
No, I haven't either.
I don't think I could either. Part of me went, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to be brave and I'm going to do this, but then I bottled it.
Yeah.
Too cold, isn't it?
I've never done the Boxing Day dip or anything like that. No, I don't see the appeal on that. But then throughout my life, I've followed people, and people have followed me in scenarios of things that you shouldn't be doing, but you think, yeah, I'm doing it because he's done it, or she's done it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be part of the crowd, kind of thing.
Yeah. Right, well, Lee has said, he says, this, I don't completely agree. Okay, so Lee is saying we need to teach that words don't hurt to the young. Yeah, I agree with that. As adults, we agree that words can hurt, but strengthening language must come from first. Okay, we have to teach the power of words, and that they only hurt if let them. We must teach, oh, hang on a minute, bear with me. We must teach to be strong against words, as you end up growing the pandemic of language being used to hurt others. Yeah, sorry, Lee, I had to put the read more. There's quite a hefty post there. Thanks for that post. Yeah, that makes sense too, doesn't it, guys? Did it make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah. Did I make sense though?
It does make sense. That's the ideal way that I would say it as well, but it's not the normality. It's not the direction of us humans have gone down, I'm afraid. When I was growing up, you had to be strong, and if that person here used to run parents and I was, oh, is it me? Well, go and get back. That kind of thing. It's not taught. It's not to taught in this day and age of children to stand up for themselves and say to them, oh, don't worry, he's only caused that. He's only said that because he's jealous. There's none of that has been taught to this generation anymore, and it's. I would love to see what I can see where Lee's coming from, but unfortunately, it's not happening. It's an ideal way to do it, but it's not happening. There's too many cotton wrap children are now millennial adults and everything like that, which they've never. Sorry, but I've never seen a situation where they've got to stand up for themselves. Everyone thinks for them.
Well, Lisa, if you hadn't said it, I would have done. But no, well done. I couldn't agree with you more, Lisa. Absolutely perfect on that. Graham, what about you? Do you agree? I mean, I think Lee knows that himself, to be fair. I think you're absolutely right, Lisa. There was a saying that used to be said at school, which is sticks and stones will never hurt, but no, was it? Words will never hurt.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names and words will never hurt me.
That's the one. That's it. Well, we were brought up like that, weren't we? I think.
Yep.
I don't know what went wrong. What happened? I mean, it's mad, isn't it? When did it change? When did things change? That's what I want to know. When 2000 hit.
Yeah, exactly. It's all to do with virtual signalling, isn't it?
Yeah, 2000.
Well, the thing is, it hasn't changed, because as far as I suppose people like us are concerned, well, we haven't seen it change in the sense of that we expect it change. It's not been law. It's perception, I suppose, that others have brought in. So we stick by what we believe in, don't we? And I think that's right, and we have to. And that's where freedom of speech comes in, because we should be entitled to say what we believe, and we're entitled to do that in any walk of life. So I suppose work is a limit, because obviously working in certain environments, you're not allowed to express your views in certain cases, obviously, and that be it religion. But nonetheless, general day-to-day life, we brought up to be who we are, and we shouldn't change that just because, as you said, Lisa, a few young to old millennials have felt it's not necessary anymore. But yeah, absolutely.
No. When I was younger, sorry Ben to cut in then. When I was younger, if I wanted pocket money, I worked for it. If I wanted something, my dad used to say to me, if I've got it, I'll give it to you, but you have to earn it. And I think the government have given too many handouts to everyone, and they can't defend themselves. It's like I've got 3 boys, and I like to bring them up in a growing industry, how to grow their own veg, stuff like that. But that's my perspective. But then there's probably a family 4 doors up that, I don't know, I just go to it's all fed of me now, it's in a supermarket, I might as well just pay 67p for 4 tomatoes in a plastic bag, because it's all right, it's food at the end of the day. It's the perspective of day-to-day living is showing how youngsters how to live. It's not the way that but veg comes from a veg plot, from the dirt. They think it just comes from a supermarket.
Exactly, and it's important that people do know how it actually originates. Lee says it changed when the idea that words could hurt and was accepted, and that it's the bit I disagree with. No, that's right, Lee. When people take too much on words, they hurt by words. I mean, and it comes to the point, doesn't it, that you can have a normal conversation with somebody, and you have to be particularly careful about what you say, or how you say it. And that's the sort of way we've sort of gone in society. We're sort of walking on eggshells in situations when we shouldn't be. Strange, isn't it? Strange but true, I'd say. Grem, there's something else that I do think we need to press on with, because and it is about COVID-19. I don't want to veer too far from it, because it is a topic which is quite a discussion point at the moment, and I will read it out. It says COVID-19, a vaccine may never be found, warns the UK Medicine Task Force. Chief of the UK Vaccine Task Force chair has cautioned against the over-optimism that COVID-19 vaccine will be found. It comes as PM Boris Johnson says it is an exaggeration that a vaccine is 100% likely to be this year or next. Now, that comes around the same sort of time that there has been suggestion there's about 100 million test vaccines that are going to be rolled out. So there is a little bit of mixed information regarding that, and what is to be the case and true. But the fear is it may never come about a vaccine. So, but we do know Russia have wanted to work with us on it, work with us on a vaccine, and we know it's a global issue. And of course, we need to be looking globally on this. We can't be looking inwardly on it, because simply it's affected everybody in every way of life. So, but yeah, Grem, what do you think about that?
I suppose we'll have to wait and see what actually comes out of from this, because who do we believe? The government of the day, or 2 different scientists? One that says that there won't be a vaccine, and others that say that there will be.
Yeah, true. What about you, Lisa?
The vaccines. I'm kind of a contradictory person on this. I'm all for children to have vaccines when they're children, to have tetanus and anything that you need, but I'm very wary on this vaccine. Purely fact is that I don't believe in the flu jab at all. There is too many flaws in this, because you can still catch the flu. It's supposed to be helping your immune system, but then surely playing in dirt, getting colds, interacting with people and stuff like that actually help your immune system as well. So I'm kind of in between with this vaccine. I really don't believe there's this vaccine all suddenly appeared There's got to be trials, there's got to be clinical trials, there's got to be human testing before even they think about, I've got 20 billion vaccines, let's give everyone the vaccine, because I personally wouldn't take it right now until I've seen clinical testing done and it is safe for my children and myself and my partner.
Well, you raise a good point.
And my family.
Well, you raise a good point, Lisa, because the point is that, what we do know is when it comes to things like the flu jab, and as much as some, maybe the elderly generation would probably rely on it simply because of the fear of which by becoming ill could see them lose their life, it's a serious topic, and that's just with your general common flu. But what we do know is when you do take a vaccine, it is actually you ingesting or inwardly bringing the virus into your body. So you actually are infecting yourself in a sense, and so nobody can say, I think it's fair to say, that when you inject yourself with a flu virus or a vaccine, shall we say, more correct, that actually you don't feel any symptoms of it afterwards. I think it's fair to say that you do. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've never had a vaccine on flu, but yeah, I agree with you, Lisa. I think sometimes when we were kids, I think it was fair to say that we were a lot harder. Our immune systems were a lot harder because we played in the gardens, didn't we? We run around and we went out and about and ate grass, if that's what we did. I didn't do that. No,
and our pedals were metal. They weren't plastic. Ours were metal with spikes on. And as soon as they hit your shin, that I used to remember quite well, when sliding down banks, rolling down banks, climbing trees to get apples, eating them straight off the tree, and jumping in ponds and everything like that, not knowing, don't care there might be fish or anything in the water. We just got on with it. It was fun. It was
the way to go. Do people still jump off of jetties?
Yeah, they still jump off jetties in Dover, even the barrels, and it absolutely makes my heart wrench, because where my work's down the Royal Singapore Yacht Club, I just like, oh my God, they can actually swim. It's really, it's being a mum now, I wouldn't let my kids do it, but I did it.
I must admit, yeah, you do. I think as you get older, you do realise that even some of the things that we did as youngsters, you wouldn't want your children doing now. I suppose that's a fair statement.
No.
I don't know. Maybe I think times were different back then as well. I don't know. I mean, I remember when I was a child, and when you're going out and about, and your parents used to say, well, at least they did with me, it's not the same as it used to be in our day, so we can't let you stay out this time or that time. And there was still an element of danger, even back in when we were young. But back in the day, going before that, my parents' generation of when they were young, they used to be able to go out and about, and no one used to know where they were, because everyone was friendly, in a sense that you didn't have crime to what we do today, and then that's the difference, isn't it, as generations have gone on. So sadly, I feel sorry for some of the younger generation of today for the fact that they didn't maybe have the sort of youngster lifestyle that we had. It is a shame, but the way that
it was the best childhood I ever had. It was the summer holidays were hops. It was we used to go play in the woods, do tree swings, tire swings. We used to go to the beach, and that's when we was able to go around as kids groups and actually play on the estate without the worry of crime, of like people kidnapping or paedophiles and everything like that. It wasn't known then. You were so safe going to your next door neighbours or to your nan, which is 3 roads up, or it's all different. There's too much knowledge of knowing what's going on these days, and people do need to they need to have a childhood. It's like, if I had a daughter, I wouldn't let my daughter put makeup on until she's like 14, 15. I don't want her to have earrings at the age of 1. I'm not letting her dye her hair until she's at least left my home, and she will be wearing decent clothes. I may sound old-fashioned, but I see girls these days wearing the most shortest skirts and everything like that, and they're only 11, 12. You see girls showing their midriff, and they're only like 8, 9-year-olds, and I'm thinking, no, you're not doing that. You stay in your street, you stay in your state, enjoy the estate, kids. Be a kid. Please, that's all I can say to the viewers. Let your kids be kids. They need to be kids. They don't need political agendas. They don't need to be brainwashed with this person did this person, that person's coloured because it's against our rules, you don't hang around with them and stuff like that. Let kids be kids and let them decide what they want, and that's when secondary school comes into play and gives them the knowledge and experience. Let them be kids. Sorry, I don't mean to rant then.
No, that's a very good point. You know, you said earlier about cybercrime, Lisa. I want to touch on that because there's just going back to that moment. It's cybercrime on the rise, 23%. It says here, year-on-year increase as hackers prosper in the world of lockdown. 23% up. That's quite a lot, isn't it? It's quite brilliant, really.
Me personally, there's so much technology. There's like in my house, I've got at least more than one Xbox. I have technology everywhere. But however, there's got to be parental control with your children. There's so many grooming gangs that can access your child playing Fortnite. There's TikTok that can be. That's why it's increasing. And then you put your bank details in so your child can go and get V-Bucks. But then what does it say that it was leaked out? You don't know. I stay away from technology in my house. I'm very strict with my kids. They have to earn an hour a day just to get on the Xbox or the PlayStation. I sound like a mean mum now.
Yeah, but it needs to be
sensible mum, not a mean mum. You're sensible.
V-Bucks. Explain what V-Bucks are for the viewers.
V-Bucks is money for, I think, is Fortnite. They need to either buy or earn tiers and victories to get V-Bucks, I think, and to buy like skins, weapons.
Skins.
That's another thing. Weapons, weapons to complete their tasks in Fortnite. I wouldn't recommend Fortnite, but it's the norm. My friend's doing it. I want to do it. It's aimed at kids. That technology is.
Yeah, definitely. Right, well, it's been great, guys, hasn't it? Grem and Lisa, thank you very much. Grem, the Ben and Grem. We nearly had a show without you, Grem, but I'm glad we didn't. The viewers are certainly glad we didn't. But yeah, no, it's been good. We've had a good time this evening. And is that about it, Grem? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so.
Righto. Well,
it's been lovely to be with you guys again. It's good to speak to you.
Well, next time, Lisa, it's going to be structured, so don't worry about that.
Could the topics be more of like a Dover district surrounding, maybe, so we can give viewers an insight of how Dover district area, how we persist in daily life and news, because we have so much to offer and people to see. Once lockdown is over, we have the beach, we have the harbour, we have cruise ships. We've got Walt Disney in at the moment, which is an amazing thing. We've got an amazing castle. So maybe we could do some bits about Dover district and tell people to come and see the lovely Dover. There's more to Dover than people think and say.
Well, we can have a segment on that, can't we, Ben? We can create a segment where we can discuss about Dover and about why people should visit from throughout the United Kingdom.
Yeah, exactly.
Would be an idea.
Absolutely.
We're talking about football for about 40 minutes. Moving on. Right.
Cheers, guys. Anyway, it's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure.
It has been good. Lisa, check your messenger for a minute. And Grem, you hold right there. But thank you very much, guys. It's been a great evening. The Ben and Grem Show has enjoyed your time and company. We've had a huge pleasure in having Lisa on this evening as our special guest. And I'm sure she'll be back again soon. And from us, it's good night. But obviously, you will see us next week, 7:30, next Sunday. Grem, for the viewers, what date is that next Sunday?
I have no idea.
26th.
Checking the calendar. 26th.
26th. So we'll see you on the 26th of July. We're still in July. This month's gone really slow.
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Don't say that. I'm going to go back to work next week.
Have you worked at all since lockdown, Lisa? Or
no, I've been furloughed all through.
So you're going back next week?
Yes.
Well, good luck.
But even though I was furloughed, I still did my community stuff, shopping for the elderly that couldn't go, and referring people to charities that need, and still did competitions. We did a scarecrow competition, was amazing. Kids absolutely loved that. one dressed up as a soldier, another one dressed up as a nurse. So when the paramedics and everything were walking around, I was like, oh, look at that scarecrow. So yeah, it was good. It was good fun. But back to normality. So the workload is going to be stretched even more.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's it, isn't it? It's, you know, we've found that we've done all these various different things, particularly in lockdown, because we've had the time to do it. But then when you go back to normality again, it's, you don't want to leave these things alone. You know, you want to carry them on, so you do find yourself being extra busy, which is good. And you know, it's worth doing all the while you're doing something for the community, isn't it? As you say, Lisa, it's very, very good. And Graham, I'm proud of you as well, because obviously you do also equally work in the community as with your involvements, and keep up the good work, guys, both of you. It's really, really important, and people respect you guys for doing what you do, even if sometimes it's fair to say that it doesn't seem that way. There is always people there that are interested, even if it's behind the scenes. And I think for similar reasons, they might be just busy, mightn't they, sometimes, and they can't be advocating involvement as much as maybe they'd like, but you can guarantee not. They would be absolutely proud and thankful that you exist as a group and groups. So yeah, keep going up with the hard work.
Graham, I was about to say thank you for keeping on with the Halloween disco that we set up in the town hall. It's amazing to hear people's adventures that they've had with you, and you've kept it on. So thank you so much for keeping that tradition on, which all three of us set up in from the beginning. So thank you so much for that.
Do you remember, that was great, wasn't it? Do you remember? And do you know what, Lisa? I loved it. And the pair of you, wasn't it? It was great when we managed to get. Do you remember Kelly Turner, when we got her at the event? That was fantastic, wasn't it? And we did really well for her, I think, the whole community, the whole of Dover, and
all
the world,
raffle
really.
prizes were free. Everything was free for us to purchase. It was an amazing night. They had disco, they had pumpkins everywhere. They had pictures everywhere. It was an absolute brilliant idea, and I'm so proud of Graham carrying it on. It's I think this is the fifth one this year if it goes ahead.
Yes, but I'm thinking we're going to have to probably postpone it. We'll have to wait and see. And next year, the town hall were scheduled to have some work done, renovations. They're meant to be creating some flats upstairs or something. And they're doing something with the hall as well, the main hall, or the stone hall, and in 2021, 2022. So we possibly may have to look for a new venue for next year.
Wow.
But I have stipulated to the management board of FADCA, it has to be of Gothic splendour. I'm not doing it in anything like a cub hut, a community centre. It needs to have character.
And dress up.
Thanks for starting this conversation off, Ben, with a message to Lisa. It's really appreciated.
Yeah, no, I need to mention it, and you know, this is what I mean. We need people to realise just what can be done in their local area. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes. Particularly the day and age these days, you know, there's not so much for these people to do, you know, and apart from going maybe around your local park. And so actually we wanted to say, don't we, want to make that point that yes, there are things you can get involved with, local community, getting involved with your direct local community in all good things, mutual things, and get to know people as well. And it's not just about going down the pub and getting to know people. You can meet people in all sorts of walks of life, but certainly through community centres is absolutely the way to do it. And people need to know a bit more about them, certainly, and they need to be advertised. And you know, it'd be nice if we could hear that more on the news, on the radio, you know, more outlets talking about these local groups, because you don't hear of it much. You know, you hear like local authorities, certainly, if there's something going on like an event, Graham and Lisa, as you know, when we've done events in the past, or should we say when you've done events, and I've been sort of involved through being member of a council, but you know, I have to say, you know, it needs beating up, doesn't it? It needs talking up, you know, definitely.
Oh yeah, well, in Dover we have a vast majority of ward forums, so we've got like St Radigans, we've got Tower Hamlets, we've got Dover, we've got Thadcar, we have Aycliffe, we have tons and tons of forums. It's just that it's the outreach of giving the residents of this town knowledge that we're there for them, and they don't have to approach their direct forums or associations. They can go to others as well. We're not just segregating in these areas. We're here to help everyone. So we are here, and please come and give us questions, make things hard for us, because We don't learn without mistakes.
Good message. Thank you very much, Lisa. And powerful as well. It's not just Dover either. As you know, there's other places. Depending on where you're viewing from, you'll always find there'll be a community organisation somewhere in your vicinity. So, if you're watching from Folkestone, there'll be groups. There'll be also groups in Deal or Ramsgate or Canterbury, Ashford, and the list goes on. But yeah, as we are from Dover, guys, obviously this is a little bit of story about that. It'd be sad to see that the event, Graham, will be postponed. But hopefully, I'm assuming it's all to do with the virus, right?
It is, yeah. It's basically because it's going to be extremely difficult to be able to do the 1 metre plus. I mean, how can we do games around that? How can we do a risk assessment? It's just going to be difficult, extremely difficult. And in fact, also, we need at least sell 120 odd tickets, isn't it, Lisa? Like before, to actually make the necessary profit to be able to pay for the next one.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to get involved, guys, if you don't mind.
I'm not going to get it because it means we're going to have to lower the numbers down, and we cannot run that event at 200 and no, I think it's £290 now to hire that place. We cannot do that on just 50 tickets.
No.
We just can't do it. We can't do it on 30, can't do it on anything less.
Right, so you have to have a minimum, don't you, really? Well, look,
we do, yes.
If you guys, if you do cross paths in the whole involvement, certainly I'll be happy to jump along as well and help where I can. Bring back old members as well. And it'd be good to see people from all walks of life of Dover getting back together again. It was nice. It was a nice time. I remember a couple of people certainly said, oh, this is a really good idea. We should keep this going. Just for people, speaking with people in the evenings. So, yeah, I think there's a need for it. And, maybe we should...
I just want to mention as well, it's not just forums in regards to residential wards like St Mads Tower, Hamlet, Snakecliff. There is other groups. So you've got the Smart Project. You have the Cleaning Up community forum, which is the people that are representing to clean, like picking litter. You've got people with charities that go on poverty in this town of community forums as well. So there's not specifically one just to help your ward or your estate. There is other subjects and other agendas of forums in each town. So that's what I just want to make people aware. There's not just us, there's other groups as well. There's plenty of groups, there's plenty of help, but it's just knowing where to go.
Well said. So that's it. So thank you very much from Lisa and from Grem and from Lisa and from Ben. It's the Ben and Grem Show. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week, Sunday evening, 7:30. Until then, have a good evening. Shh.
You